Okay, just shut up, stop, and go watch the show. Literally, just pause the video right now and go watch the show. Are you still fucking here? Fine, let's do this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Otaku Gamer AJT here bringing you yet another anime review on the popular anime Angel Beats. We will be discussing and rating on the following topics of story, character development, visual arts and effects, as well as music and basic overall viewer enjoyment. And our lifetime goal is to get through this entire review without crying. So strap in, because we're going on a field trip. Okay, so let's kick off the review with some basic facts on the show. Okay, so Angel Beats is a multi-release project produced by Key Studios, which has brought us amazing titles such as Air, Canon, and Clannad. It consists of an anime and manga series, a novel, as well as a comic. However, the 13-episode anime series was also produced by PA Works, Aniplex, Visual Arts, and it's licensed by Sentai Filmworks. Angel Beats is a supernatural action comedy that also takes you on a personal, emotional roller coaster throughout the entire series. Angel Beats takes place at a high school in the afterlife, and although they are all dead, they still experience the natural human sensations such as hunger and pain. Yet the high school student body consists of NPCs, non-player characters, which are humanoid interfaces without souls.
Like in games?
It's a comparison. It means that they've been in this world from the very get-go.
Will they repeat themselves if I talk to them?
Give it a shot. Since you're new here, I doubt you'll notice a difference between us.
So they can hold a conversation.
Why not go up and slap a girl on her ass?
Do what?
She'll either run away or smack you.
They're well made, at least.
And then there are the students with souls that are in the world with a purpose, each with a different past life, but all of them are here to release lingering emotions from an unjust life. And it is these lingering emotions that keep them here in this world from passing on to their next life. This ultimately brings them to the main point with the afterlife battlefront, where the students with lingering emotions fight against God because of their unjust lives. The initial story starts as Otonashi awakens without any memories from his past life due to the occurring case of amnesia. He is first greeted by Yuri Nakamura, otherwise known as Yurippy, and so the story of Angel Beats began.
Welcome to the Not Dead Yet Battlefront.
And now that the plot's out of the way, we can move on to the characters. And who better to start off than with the Queen Bee herself, Yurippy. So Yurippy starts off as the ultimate commando badass as the leader of the Afterlife Battlefront, who comes off as a strong-minded, level-headed, and determined leader, and at times has a psychotic mind that seems to mirror Haruhi Suzumiya. She created this campaign to defy God because of his own role in her own unjust life. However, Yurippy ends up labeling Angel as the main enemy of the Underworld Battlefront and devises operations to defy her. However, there are always two sides to every story. Angel is a supposed right-hand man to God, but her real name is who starts off as a school student council president who enforces normal behavior by suppressing disruptive activities, which deems her the enemy of the SSS Battlefront. However, she is not as defenseless as she first seems. Angel contains incredible strength, can use extraordinary abilities in combat, and comes off seeming indestructible. However, you can definitely understand more about this character as she develops in the series. This brings us to Ayato Naoi, the student council vice president who was originally thought to be an NPC, but as the story progressed he realized he has his own dark past and reasons for coming into this world. He develops as a character that seems to have some intelligence, but ends up as comic relief for this otherwise depressing anime. Not to mention that he is yet another narcissistic asshole that you will learn to respect by the end of the show.
I am God.
Are you still going on about that?
And oddly enough, he is also my favorite character from the show itself. And now we can move on to Hanada, the second official member of the We're Not Yet Dead Battlefront. He was the one who started it with Yuri. He is an overall great guy that everyone wants to have as a best friend, and Otonashi gains that privilege. Yet like so many others in the story, he has a lingering emotion from his previous life. Then there's Misumi Iwasawa, cool, beautiful, and talented lead singer of the Battlefront's diversion team, Girls Dead Monster, otherwise known as Girls Demo. Not to mention that the band itself is a fantastic part of the official soundtrack. This brings us to Yui, the polar opposite of Iwasawa's cool, mature personality. She's the energetic and playful part of Girls Demo, who debuts as a great singer in episode 4. She's yet another great source of comic relief for the show as it hits you with the emotional buzz we call feelings. Then last but not least is Otonashi, the main character that this anime revolves around. But as mentioned before, he leaves little development in the show because of his occurring case of amnesia. However, the writers added this character in perfectly. because he becomes our gateway into the mysterious world known as Angel Beats. This created one of the greatest hooks that I have ever seen in a show. However, as the story progresses, we see the character play a bigger role in the series when the anime gets deeper into every aspect, all the way up until episode 13. Angel Beats is definitely a show that made me feel like I was on the inside of the story instead of sitting down watching it. Not to mention that Angel Beats accomplished so much more for a 13-episode single-season show than some longer ones failed to ever do, and it is just a story that I believe everyone needs to see.
So watch it.
Speaking of seeing the show, the animation is just so indescribably awesome that I cannot put it into words. Everything is just so beautiful that it is rather hard to complain about the graphics at all, especially considering that the fight scenes and backgrounds look so fantastic that I would find it hard to believe if someone didn't hand polish every atom in the background. Angel Beats looks so outstanding that it is almost on Fate Zero's level of excellence, if it isn't already there. And now moving on to music, and you cannot talk about Angel Beats music without mentioning its intro. And it is one of the greatest intros in anime history, or at least in my opinion it is, because not only does it look phenomenal, but its music is great too. And with this already announced Girls demo, the soundtrack is just so wonderful and beautiful, but may I also add that I love every single song from the soundtrack, so much so that I have about 90% of the songs in my iTunes library, and there has not been a week in my life that I have not listened to my two favorite soundtracks from the show, The Unjust Life and the SSS theme. The music is such a huge part of the show that you could listen to the soundtrack of Angel Beats over something like School Days and it would be 9,000 times better, but 9,000 times 0 is still 0 sadly. However, you should take to accustom that this is my #1 favorite soundtrack of all time, but that's only because Angel Beats uses every single song 99% perfectly in the series, making every emotional display through the songs that I just love. On the subject of subbed or dubbed, just watch it. Seriously, both are equally great, especially on every single emotional level that could ever exist out there. However, I like the dub 0.5% more because the voice actors really sound American to me. If you haven't figured it out already, I love this show with a passion. However, I understand that not one show is perfect, but at the same time I'm not going to point out every single personal flaw with the show just because it did not live up to my previous set expectations after watching a different anime. I know the flaws behind the show, but I was able to put it behind myself and see the show for what it was, and that was a great story. Sure, it was too short, but the story developed enough in the plot in the short amount of time that it had, more than other shows can do in 2 seasons. Sure, the show might not be able to cover its vast amount of characters in this time, but how the few select characters were focused on was phenomenal. Not to mention that I give credit to the show on what it could do in the small time space. Yes, the entire plot, although flawed in some ways, managed to build up enough emotional tension to it that would lead many people to cry over the course of the show, and especially at the end. I know people who didn't cry at all over the series, and as heartless as that might seem to me, it's understandable. I too used to believe that I was a man of steel.
I was the perfect warrior, cold and ruthless. I lived by my strength alone, uninhibited by foolish emotion.
But Angel Beats, like everything else from Key, got me. And there is only one word that can describe the ending of Angel Beats for me, and that is... And for that reason, I congratulate Angel Beats because the ending hit me like a Thank you, Miley. Some people out there have this mindset
that it is just an anime, quit being a pussy.
And I understand the criticism, but there's a moment when an anime becomes much more than just an anime, isn't there? Because Angel Beats taught me a very important life lesson. It made me realize that no matter what was waiting for us on the other side, we must accept it and not fear death because everything has a time limit. And we were given the chance to live and experience and witness this wonderful world that we have. If we look past all of our flaws, we will be able to live happy, fulfilled lives. Live our lives and follow our hearts, so when our time comes, we won't regret anything. Okay, so instead of giving you a regular numerical rating, I'm going to leave you with a bit of advice, and that is to just watch the show, because it is a show that, once again, everyone needs to see. So much so that I honestly believe that it can be a good gateway anime for anyone new to the fanbase, or just a great watch for any regular otaku. And those would have to be my final words for this review. And to everyone, thanks for watching, and until next time, sayonara and stay sexy.